During their time in office, which US president would be able to do the most push-ups? A lot of people in here sleeping on Gerald Ford. He played linebacker and center for 2 undefeated Michigan teams, turned down offers from the Lions and Packers to go to law school at Yale. Dude probably did a lot of push-ups in his day. Probably Eisenhower old officer he may be, but he was still modern army, and those not Marines practically live on push-ups. I'd bet money on Teddy Roosevelt doing the most out of pure spite and willpower. No contest. President Dwayne Elizondo Mountain Dew Herbert Camacho. Abe Lincoln was an absolute monster and honestly prolonged the Civil War by not going out and wrestling Lee himself. No one knows more about doing push-ups than Trump. He won the push-up competition like 50 years straight at his golf course. His doctor also said he could do 1 million at a time. Everyone is saying it. Very smart and strong people all say he's the best. Obama is 100 getting slept on this thread. Taft his belly would be on the ground supporting him at full arm extension. That counts, right? Lincoln. I'm guessing that it wasn't Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Seeing as how George Washington was 74 and could easily bench press over 380 pounds for 10 reps, I'd have to go with Trump. In the modern era, possibly Jimmy Carter. He was a naval officer and a farmer before being elected president at the comparatively young age of 53. After seeing a shirtless pic of him in the Our President's subreddit, I'm throwing Harry Truman into the mix. The man was shockingly buff. Probably the ones that served in the military. Eisenhower was older, but I could see him doing push-ups into old age to keep fit. Teddy Roosevelt was relatively young as president and pretty big into physical fitness. As for the last, definitely FDR. Definitely not William Henry Harrison, considering he spent most of his term in office confined to a bed before dying. Teddy Roosevelt. Bush 43 was no slouch. Not sure if he'd win, but probably top 5. Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt, Obama. George Washington not even close. He was a beast.